TYT that was posted on YouTube about the North Korean peace uh, initiative by the North and South Koreans leadership, and I was frankly shocked to see the coverage by TYT because they kept on attacking North Korea and saying how North Korea uh, has has been the only sole bad actor, and how North Korea wasn't really all that believable, and how North Korea may be the ones to back out, insinuating North Korea would back out, and that it was all just a propaganda piece to gull the South and the rest of the world. And so basically, it was just complete bashing of North Korea uh, in in a very in the very manner that the corporate establishment media often does. It was almost exactly the way corporate media would have done. And so when after I watched the video, I completely lambasted TYT because I'm I'm a devoted I watch TYT devotedly, and I have considered them to be more fair and balanced than the corporate media, who I do not pay much attention or give any credence to. So for TYT to take this was an utter shock to me. Now, Democracy Now covered this, and they were far more balanced than TYT. TYT was aggressively non-balanced in this, non-contextual. They seem to have forgotten their own coverage about the underhandedness of the U.S. government, or the United Nations decisions that have come at the behest of the United States, or Western Europe. So uh, it was just like the U.S. Mainstream media coverage, where it's completely and utterly unbalanced, and they seem to have conveniently forgotten that for decades North Korea has made proposals, the proposal of freeze for freeze. So where the U.S. freezes its war games with South Koreans, with the South Koreans, and oftentimes with Japanese government cooperation, of doing war games on the Korean Peninsula geared towards North Korea and China. So they seem to have forgotten that North Koreans have been the ones who have proposed this. It has been brokered by Russia and China, both at the UN and directly to the U.S. government. In the case of the U.S. government, completely ignored or rejected uh, in either the UN or the U.S. or by Washington. Let's not forget that uh, the U.S. has made agreements with the North, and it was in all cases the U.S. has been the one to back out and break the agreements, which is why the North Koreans were forced to start the nuclear program. And this is not like it's unverifiable. It's completely and utterly verifiable, not only from the archives of the U.S., but also even by mainstream media reporting um, later on, just like they reported that Iraq had no weapons of mass destruction, and so on and so forth. So, or the Gulf of Tonkin in Vietnam. So, um, and also the uh, the Bush era axis of evil, which was one of the things that made North Korea back out in 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 countering the U.S. Hostilities towards North Korea. So TYT has covered this because it's been established that these are the things that actually happened. The context of realities that happened. TYT and its coverage on the North Korean peace talks and what the North Korean and South Korean have gone to, and they just it just was rapaciously uh, rapaciously negative, and with the caveats of, oh, well, we can hope for the best. So it's I have noticed that a TYT has is doing a little bit before this North Korea video by TYT, but before TYT has parroted some of the mainstream narrative, and Democracy Now is also I can also accuse Democracy Now of doing it, but this is a special case where a network I have promoted and I have endorsed has basically completely and utterly betrayed that endorsement. And with this absolutely horrid and criminally negligent coverage of the situation. And TYT staff are not stupid, they are not ignorant, and they certainly are not obtuse, which is everything that they have built their network on. Progressive, that video was not. Peace loving, that video was not. Propagandist, that video was. I am ashamed for TYT for putting out that filth and that trash. Now, as I've said all this, I will state that perhaps they honestly made a mistake. But if they have, then they should correct that mistake and apologize and put the context behind it all. Because I do believe that something will come tomorrow, I do not believe it will be the North Koreans who TYT seems to have insinuated will be the one to break it. I do believe that it will be outside pressure, and not by the Chinese or the Russians, but outside pressure that will put a monkey wrench in it, if at all. The plain fact of the matter is the US, China, Russia, the UN, or even Japan, they have absolutely no right to, to play any part in the Korean Peninsula and the Korean people wanting to have a cessation of hostilities and to value their very lives, the mental and emotional strain that they have lived under for over a half a century. And it is the height of moronic irony and hypocrisy to believe that any other should have a say in whether or not the people of the Korean Peninsula should be able to live their lives as they see fit. Again, I state, I am deeply disappointed with TYT. And as a Korean, born in South Korea, adopted when I was 7.5, naturalized in the 80s in the United States, having grown up in the poverty in Korea before being adopted, and naturalized as a U.S. citizen, I find this completely and utterly reprehensible on the part of TYT. And if I am falsely accusing TYT, then I want there to be a correction by TYT, and I will come and make a video and apologize for my harsh words for TYT. Even Democracy Now, who I actually put under TYT for fair and balanced, objective, and contextual reporting. I have more respect for what Democracy Now did for their Korean peace video that I watched on YouTube. Democracy Now did not vilify or insinuate the North Koreans backing out and breaking in a malicious, nefarious way, as TYT stated in their own video. Continue in this line, TYT, and I guarantee you that I will unsubscribe and I will put you into the category of enemies of the people. Your track record of late has been too mainstreamed. This is my opinion of you. Yet I have tolerated and given you the benefit of the doubt. And I've continued to watch TYT for years. But my patience and my fairness for TYT will be gone. So make the correction and be the objective and contextual and respected news source that I subscribe to and I have had to and I have promoted